Hey guys, it's Paul from Ashen. It is new comic book day for the week of January 29th, and we're going to get started right now.
Now!
I'm just laughing because
I gave him a pep talk.
his pep talk, that's the most anti of anti pep talks he's ever given me.
It was a good pep talk.
He just told me to shut up over and over and over again.
It was more vulgar than that.
It was, but I was trying to clean it up.
But yeah. Good luck with that.
This episode brought to you by the Comic Book Store, 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey, 08028. Come buy some comics.
Hey guys, Tim from Capes and Scowls. It's time to talk about some comics like we always do. If that's okay with you. I'm going to talk about some trades. I got Owly, The Way Home. Owly. He just wants a friend. Good for you, Owly. Marvelverse Black Panther. This is going to be a whole slew of old Panther books. Shadow of the Batgirl. Another one of these young adult graphic novels from DC. This follows Cassandra Cain, which is cool. Cassandra Cain, teenage assassin, no big deal. Batman Beyond, Volume 6. This book's just been spectacular. Every time I go back to it, I love it. Sea of Stars. You read Sea of Stars, right, Paul?
The first issue was pretty good.
Pretty good, there you go. So that might be worth checking out. Earth X. Bam, Alex Ross doing Alex Ross things, being all, I'm Alex Ross. I never read this. All this alternate dimension stuff, you know? Fantastic Four, The Coming of Galactus. This is one of the greatest FF stories there is. We got Birds of Prey, Murder and Mystery, Volume 1. This is Gail Simone's run, which is a good run. Avengers, Volume 5. Sometimes I read it back here. I got confused. Volume 5, focusing on some Ghost Rider and Hell storyline. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Volume 2. Continuing on here. This is issues 7 through 14. Spidey fights the Prowler. Who doesn't love the Prowler? You love the Prowler. Thumbs. The Complete Thumbs. I reviewed issue 1. It was alright. I enjoyed it. Sean Lewis is pretty good. You either love or hate the art, I feel. That's just kind of the way it is. We have Thor by Jason Aaron, the Complete Collection, Volume 2. These big old collections are pretty awesome. This contains Thor, God of Thunder, 19 through 25, and the beginning of the Lady Thor run, which is good. Definitely worth checking out. And finally, last but not least, we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Volume 10. Man, I love that this thing's still going. I've never been a Power Ranger guy, but I just love that, you know, a property book can be A, good, and B, go apparently forever, which is great.
First up, we have Protector, issue number 1. It was okay. I've got a couple pet peeves about books. One is that a book gives you enough information to kind of go on through the first issue because they have to catch you. This did, for the most part. I was not a fan of the art. This art style, I'm not saying it's a bad art style, I'm just saying that this is an art style that you either like or you just do not. And I didn't. It revolves around America, or North America, about 2,000 years into the future. Things have gone not well. And the Canadians have kind of taken over everything with the help of the First People. So Inuit and other various Canadian Native American groups have basically taken over everything and re-enslaved the world. Take that, Whitey, I guess.
Wow.
This takes place in what would be Chicago, where a runaway slave girl of one of the conquered people is trying to get away from her captors, and then accidentally opens up a doomsday robot that kind of fights her battles a la Lost in Space. And then we have to find out the group of people that have a seer that have told them that this thing is going to come and kill everybody, and they set off to not kill it. So it's kind of tough. I mean, you can make some inferences on who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, but they don't really give you a lot of information. And then my other pet peeve is that on the back of the book, they give you nearly as much dialogue in just backlog of the characters that they probably should have put in the book, and or let you discover these characters and discover these things yourself, and they didn't. And it's just I don't know. If you're really looking for a flyer, it's worth the pickup. Like I said, it was well written. It just like I wasn't a fan of the art, and you might be.
All right, first up we have Thor, issue number 2, the Donny Cates new run. Continuing on, this issue 1 was my pick of the week when that came out, and this one's still very good. I really enjoyed it. Thor being the Herald of Galactus, essentially, trying to feed him in a safe way, which is it just never turns out great, does it? The story continues with Thor being a little confused about his abilities. He's the All-Father now, and the hammer is becoming hard for him to hold, is becoming heavy. He is trying to save people from a planet that is on the hit list for Galactus, but we need Galactus to be nice and strong to survive the oncoming disasters. The plague, the demons, whatever monstrous thing hides in the shadows. I really enjoy this book. I think it's great. There's an awesome reference to DC's Justice League in here, and I really chuckled when I saw that. So I thought that was fun. But yeah, the book's great, so read it.
Next up, we have Ravencroft, Institute for the Criminally Insane. This takes place after Absolute Carnage, and it's basically Misty Knight taking over Ravencroft and kind of seeing the day-to-day. I'm assuming this is going to be Marvel's take on either Arkham or possibly Blackwater. And you might end up with like a Suicide Squad-esque group coming out of this. I'm not sure. I didn't read any of Absolute Carnage. But this did give you enough information to kind of let you know what's going on. Misty is kind of an undercover agent working for Ravencroft because she believes that the people who are running Ravencroft, and wow, you see who's running Ravencroft, and you agree with her that something shady is probably going on. And the main characters revolve around Misty, John Jameson, and the Kingpin. And like I said, I mean, it's an interesting book. Probably would have helped if I had read Absolute Carnage, but I mean, again, this gives you more than enough information and more than enough catch up to let you know what is going on. So give it a try. I mean, the art was good. The writing from Frank Terry was solid. So check it out.
Next up, I read George R.R. Martin's A Clash of Kings Part 2, number 1. Boy, that's a mouthful. These books are pretty good. I've read a little of these in the past, and if you've only seen the show, you should be able to follow this, but I feel like it kind of takes a little more from the books, and that's probably a good thing, right? Because that show didn't necessarily do what we wanted in the end, right, Paul?
Not listening.
Paul's not listening to me. That's great. But this book was fine. You get 3 different stories, one focusing on John, one focusing on Sansa, and one focusing on Bran. And I like the Sansa one the best. Kind of has a better plot line, in my opinion. They're wordy. I like how the internal dialogue is written for the characters. That's probably why I like the Sansa one the best. Really solid writing from, oh boy, I lost it. We'll get there. Landry Q. Walker. And the art's not bad by Mel Ruby as well. If you are a completionist for Game of Thrones, I think you should get this, and I think you will enjoy this. It's just, there's not a million things to supplement the actual books that people enjoy, so I think this is a good way to go.
Don't forget, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification. Make sure you click on all, so that way you know when our videos are live, and where you'll see us next time. What could be my pick of the week? Wow, it makes it sound like I'm Tim here.
What could it be, Paul?
It's issue 58 of Rick and Morty.
What?
Kyle Starks.
I love him.
You do love him. And Ellersby. One thing I love about Rick and Morty books is they really, like, Starks really knows how to write Rick and Morty to make it feel like you're just in an episode of Rick and Morty. They have a lot of callbacks to a lot of different things that happen in the series. Jaguar. And I loved it. Also, this is the middle of an arc, and I love that Mr. Poopy Butthole does a kind of play-by-play of the first issue to kind of catch up all the readers, just in case you haven't read this book, and I really appreciated that. But it was a lot of fun. Rick is trying to save Morty, who has been kidnapped. A la the, you know what? Now I'm not even going to say that to do the spoilers. But Ricky is set upon by an army of Meeseeks sent to kill him, and Meeseeks have to do their thing before they die. So it's a really interesting book. It was a lot of fun. If you like Rick and Morty, you will love Rick and Morty comics because they, like I said, they really do feel like they're just right out of the series. And if not, like I said, this is going to give you more than enough to understand what is going on, and it is just really funny, and you should check it out.
All right, it's time for my pick of the week, and my pick of the week is Hawkeye, issue 2. Hawkeye Freefall, issue 2, by Matt Rosenberg. I love Matt Rosenberg. He gets the humor. This book made me laugh out loud, and I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I have a sense of humor, but man, this really made me laugh. There's so many good jokes in here, and it's also a pretty serious story with somebody masquerading as Ronin, and it gets plumb wacky, and I enjoy it. So I think you should read this. I'm probably going to pick this up in trade after I read the whole thing anyways. Hawkeye is great, and there's a lot of underlying meanings to some of the dialogue. There's a lot of opinions in here, and I think it's fine. I think it's great. I think, talking about the war on drugs and some other things in here while having a chuckle at Hawkeye's expense is good stuff. And I think this is something we could use, something we need. Read this thing. It's funny. It's great. Rosenberg, great. This book, great. Otto Schmidt, great. I'm done. All right, that's the end of the video. Thank you for making it this far. We always appreciate the people that stick around, which apparently is a lot of you. So that's good. You like hearing what we have to say. I like telling you what I have to say. If you are watching this on Wednesday, some point in the afternoon, you can head over to capesandscowlspodcast.com to hear me and Paul on a mini-sode where basically I just annoy the crap out of Paul. It's a lot of fun. I had a good time. And
I didn't have a bad time.
What?
I thought I had a good time.
You did. You were questioning a lot of my motives in trying to mess with you. It was a good time. It was a good time, and we'll do it again soon. We'll do another we'll do another podcast together soon.
Well, I mean, Awesome Con's coming up in a month or two.
I'm supposed to date it. You failed. The number one thing in podcasting.
Yeah, don't date it.
Don't date it. It's evergreen.
My bad.
I said it was evergreen when we did it a year ago.
We did it last week.
We did it last week, everybody. Last week, Paul and I sat down for an intimate discussion, and it turned into zany insanity, like it should. Yeah, check it out if you want. It's fun. If you don't do podcasts or something, then whatever. Whatever.
I mean, it was last week.
It was last week. Paul came over to my home, and he sat down, and I said, Paul, this is a microphone. He's like, I don't understand what a microphone is. I said, Paul, you talk to this thing, and it records your voice for all generations to hear your wisdom. And he said, I don't know that I have wisdom. And I said, sure you do, Paul. You're loaded with wisdom. Don't be so hard on yourself. He goes, I just don't know if I can, sir. And I said, it's okay, Paul. We all have bad days.
So messed up.
Yeah, it's all right. Bye, everybody.